It happened on a Tuesday. I was in my home office finishing work when a notification flashed on our shared tablet. It was a text, synced from my fiancée Ava's phone. We rarely touched the tablet. It mostly sat charging, but I glanced at it. The message was from her mom. Her mom. Any progress getting him to discuss the loans? Then Ava's reply popped up as I looked. Not yet, he's dodging it, but don't worry. I'll convince him before the wedding. Once he clears them, I'm out. I stared, frozen. The words felt unreal, like my mind refused to accept them. I run my own design firm. My life revolves around precision, how pieces connect, and this one sentence shattered the entire framework of my world. Out. Once he clears them. Not a prank, not a mix-up. A calculated, cold-blooded plan. My first instinct was pure fury. I wanted to grab the tablet and smash it against the wall. I wanted to storm into the living room where I could hear her giggling at some TV show and let loose. But then, a strange, chilling calm took over. This wasn't something to yell about. Yelling is for when you're trying to salvage something. This was already broken. All that remained was the cleanup. I snapped a photo of the tablet screen with my phone. I emailed it to myself. Then I scrolled up the message thread on the tablet. She'd been sloppy, so confident her steady, predictable fiancé would never check. It was all there, months of plotting. A meticulous scheme, orchestrated by her mother, to get me to pay off her $150,000 student loan debt from her literature degree. Her mom's texts coached her on what to say, how to behave. Don't push too hard. Frame it as your shared future. Tell him you can't feel secure until you're both debt-free as a couple. Shed a tear if needed. He'll feel responsible. Ava's responses. He's so caught up in wedding plans, it's the perfect cover. I almost feel guilty sometimes. He's a decent guy. Her mom's reply, don't feel guilty. Feel clever. This is for your future, not his. The one that hit hardest was about what came next. What do I do after? It'll look suspicious if I leave right away. Stay a year. Make it convincing. Then say you're unfulfilled, you've drifted apart. By then, the money's spent. The loans are gone. You walk away clean. A perfect scheme. For 2 years, I thought we were building a future. She thought she was pulling off a scam. I closed the app. I walked to the kitchen, my hand steady as I poured a glass of water. She was still on the couch. Hey, love, she said, eyes on the TV. You okay? You're quiet. Just thinking about a project, I said. My voice was normal. I felt eerily calm. She thought she was playing a master game, assuming I didn't even see the board. She had no clue I'd just seen every move she planned. And I was about to turn the game upside down. Update 1. The 2 weeks that followed were the strangest of my life. I didn't confront her. Not yet. Confronting her would lead to denials, crocodile tears, and empty promises. It would be chaotic. I don't do chaos. I do precise, clean, and final. Thanks for the comments on my first post. Many of you suggested playing the long game. I couldn't. Every second in the same house felt like a deception. My plan had to be swift and devastating. First, I gathered evidence. Every text. I also reviewed our finances. She lived in my house. I covered the mortgage, utilities, everything. She drove a car in my name. I paid her insurance, gas, our trips, our dinners out. Her modest gallery job salary was her pocket money. My income was our lifestyle. I'd been supporting a leech, and she planned to drain me one last time before cutting loose. My lawyer, a no-frills guy named Greg, confirmed my moves. She has no legal claim to your house or assets as a girlfriend. Her plan depends on you voluntarily paying those loans. So, you're going to agree that was the strategy. Let her think she'd won. Lead her to the finish line, let her feel the triumph, then yank the ground out from under her so hard she'd be reeling. So, I played the role. A few days after finding the text, I brought it up during dinner prep. I sighed heavily. I've been thinking about what you said, about your loans, about starting our life together. She turned, eyes wide with feigned hope. You have? Yeah, I said. I don't want that weighing us down. It's my wedding gift to you. I'll pay them off. She burst into tears, a performance worthy of awards. She hugged me, sobbing about how I was the kindest, most amazing man. She called her mom right after, and I heard her mother's gleeful cackle through the phone. The prey had bitten the bait. There's one thing, I added after she hung up. I don't want to just transfer the money. This is a big moment for us. I want to do it right. I want a dinner, a celebration with our parents. I'll have my bank prepare a cashier's check for the full amount. I'll present it to you that night in front of our families, a true symbol of our new life together. She was overjoyed, a public display of her victory, more than she'd hoped for. She thought I was being sentimental. I was setting the trap. The dinner was last night, a private room at the city's finest restaurant. Ava and her parents sat on one side, my parents on the other. Ava was radiant, beaming. Her mom looked smug, like she'd won a prize. Her dad, a good man I now realized was in the dark, seemed genuinely happy for his daughter. We went through the motions, chit-chat, wine, appetizers. Ava and her mom kept sharing sly glances. My parents talked about their excitement for the wedding. After the main course, I stood, holding a single envelope. As you all know, I began, I've gathered you here for a special reason. Ava and I are about to begin our life together, and I want to start it right. Ava, your student loan debt has been a heavy burden, and because I love you, I want to lift it. As my wedding gift, I'm paying off your entire loan debt. My parents smiled, touched by the gesture. Ava's dad patted my arm. Ava and her mom were practically buzzing with glee. I opened the envelope, but instead of a check, I pulled out a single sheet. It was a printed, enlarged screenshot of her text from 2 weeks ago. I placed it in the center of the table. Don't worry. Once he pays off my loans, I'm out. The silence was deafening. Ava's face went from glowing joy to ashen terror in a heartbeat. Her mom looked like she'd been struck. My parents stared at the paper, then at Ava, their expressions shifting to shock and disgust. Her dad read the text, his face draining of color. He looked at his daughter, then his wife, realization dawning painfully. This was never a marriage, I said, voice icy and steady. It was a scam. A well-crafted scam, I'll give you that. Your mother deserves credit. I pulled out more papers, copies of the text exchanges between Ava and her mom, detailing the scheme. I handed a set to my parents and one to her dad. These should clear up any questions, I said. Ava started sobbing, a pitiful, choking sound. James, no, it's not what it seems. I can explain, no need. I cut her off. Your texts explain it all. The wedding's off. We're done. I looked at her dad. I'm sorry you had to learn this way. You raised a daughter, but your wife raised a schemer. Then I stood. Mom, Dad, let's go. We left them in the ruins. The fallout started before I reached my car. A frantic voicemail from Ava, screaming and crying, then a text. You've destroyed my life. My reply, no, I just stopped funding it. I got home and her stuff was already gone. I'd had movers pack and deliver it to her parents' house during dinner. The locks were changed. The digital code was reset. For the past 24 hours, my phone's been a battlefield. I blocked Ava and her mom's numbers, but this morning, a desperate voicemail came from a blocked number. It was her. James, please, she sobbed. You can't do this. I messed up horribly. My mom pushed me. Please, I'm going to your parents' house. I'll talk to them. They love me. They'll make you listen. She thinks this is a bargain. She thinks her fake tears can sway my parents. She doesn't know my father. She doesn't know what happens when you try to scam a family of designers. She's about to face the man who taught me to spot a critical flaw from a distance. Hey everyone, it's James, the OP from the student loan scam post. The response to my first post was overwhelming. I read hundreds of comments, and it felt validating to know I wasn't irrational for how I handled it. Many of you asked what happened when my ex-fiancée, Ava, confronted my parents. She did, and it was more spectacular than I could have planned. Here's the final chapter. After the dinner where I exposed everything, I went silent, blocked Ava and her mom on all platforms. The quiet was refreshing. My parents, though, were getting bombarded. My mom said Ava left a dozen emotional voicemails claiming it was all a misunderstanding, that her mother pressured her into a joke. My mom wasn't fooled. I'd warned them about Ava's last desperate threat to visit their house. My dad's only reply was a cool, "Let her try." It happened Saturday. I was at home, trying to enjoy a calm weekend, when my dad called. His voice was steady, but had that sharp edge I knew well. "James," he said, "the wrecking crew's here." He put the phone on speaker and placed it on his study table by the front door. I had a front row seat. I heard the doorbell. My mom opened the door. Her tone was polite, but cold. "Ava?" "We didn't expect you." Ava's voice was heavy with fake sobs. "I'm so sorry to disturb you. I need to talk. I need to explain. James won't listen, and he's not thinking straight. He's throwing everything away over a misunderstanding." "It's not a misunderstanding when it's in writing," a deep voice interrupted. My dad, stepping into the hall. "My son showed us your texts." "All of them," Ava cried harder. "That wasn't me. It was my mother. She's obsessed with my loans. She put those ideas in my head. I love James. I'd never hurt him." My dad let her finish. Silence lingered. Then he spoke. "I'm a designer, Ava. My son is a designer. We create things, buildings, relationships, families. The first rule of creating anything lasting is a strong foundation. You don't build on lies, deceit, or a blueprint of fraud." "It wasn't fraud," she wailed. "It was a mistake." "Was it a mistake when you texted your mother you'd stay a year to make it look good before leaving?" my dad asked, voice cutting like a blade. "Was it a mistake when you wrote that once debt-free? You'd have options and wouldn't be trapped?" "That's not a mistake. That's a carefully crafted scheme. Technically impressive, morally repulsive." He wasn't shouting. He was dismantling her piece by piece with precision. "You didn't come to explain," he continued. "You came to execute the next phase of your plan. You couldn't manipulate my son, so you're trying his parents. You see us as a weak point to exploit, but you're wrong. This family isn't fragile." As Ava started another round of excuses, a car pulled up. Another knock. My mom opened the door. "Good grief," she muttered. It was Ava's parents. Her dad, Robert, led, looking uneasy. Her mom, Linda, followed, her face a mask of feigned concern. "We're so sorry to intrude," Robert began, trying to sound rational. "Our daughter's a mess, as you can imagine. This is a terrible misunderstanding. James may have overreacted." My dad cut him off. "Overreacted?" "Robert, I saw the texts. Your wife guided your daughter step by step to commit financial fraud against my son. Did you know?" Robert bristled, feigning outrage. "Of course not. I'm as shocked as you. Linda was just trying to ease Ava's financial stress. Her approach was misguided, but her intentions were good." He was convincing. At the dinner, I'd almost pitied him, thinking he was clueless in his wife and daughter's plot. But my dad's been designing and negotiating for 40 years. He spots lies instantly. "So," my dad said slowly, "your wife and daughter planned this for over 6 months, and you, her husband and father, had no idea. You live together, share finances, and never once discussed a plan to extract $150,000 from my son?" "I'm a busy man," Robert said dismissively. "I don't get involved in their daily drama." "I see," my dad said. Then he landed the final strike. "That's curious because I spoke with my son's lawyer this morning. He was fascinated by the legal definition of conspiracy to commit fraud. He noted that in such cases, investigators often review a family's financial records, phone logs, bank statements, everything, to determine who knew what. A forensic accountant can uncover remarkable things. The threat was subtle but unmistakable. It worked. Robert's face paled. Linda gasped. "This is too much." Robert stammered, his facade crumbling. "There's no need for lawyers." "Isn't there?" my dad countered. "Your daughter tried to steal enough money for a house down payment. That's not a misunderstanding. That's grand larceny dressed up nicely. And you, by your own admission, either knew and did nothing, making you complicit, or were so willfully blind to a scheme under your roof that it's gross negligence. Either way, you have no standing here." He turned to Ava. "You came looking for an ally. You won't find one here. You targeted my son, thinking his kindness was weakness. You saw his stability as an opportunity. You're a predator, and you're no longer welcome in this family or this house. The engagement is over. The relationship is over. If you contact my son or us again, we'll pursue a restraining order. Clear?" Ava stood speechless, her fake tears gone, replaced by raw shock. She'd been so sure she could sway them. She walked into what she thought was a discussion and found a wrecking ball. "Now," my dad said, voice dropping to a final curt tone, "I suggest you and your family leave. You have much to discuss. I presume I heard the door shut." My dad picked up the phone. "Still there, James?" "I'm here," I said. My voice wavered slightly. "It's done," he said. "The ground's cleared." The aftermath was even more satisfying. Robert, terrified my dad would follow through and his own questionable finances might be exposed, unraveled. He and Linda had a massive fight in my parents' driveway. He blamed her for the plan's failure. She blamed him for not playing his part better. Ava was left with nothing. Her parents are reportedly on the brink of divorce, their marriage as flimsy as the one she tried to build with me. Her dad cut her off financially, enraged by the public embarrassment and risk she caused. Ava's now back home, in a house divided, with no fiancé, no job to cover her bills, and $150,000 in student loans that are, and will always be, hers alone. She didn't just lose a fiancé, she lost her entire network. She bet everything on a flawless scheme and lost it all. The demolition is complete.